I want to do something to start off with by showing you a video clip of one of my very favorite comedians who talked about something very important that I'll apply a little more to Next Gen after I show this video clip. How many of you heard of Brian Regan? Anybody heard of Brian Regan? Very funny fellow. My kids can quote Brian Regan almost verbatim in our house, and this is one of my favorite bits where he talks about the Essentials kit, so I'm just going to show this for you.
So the airline lost my bag temporarily. Had to go to that baggage claim office. Boy, that must be a wonderful place to work. Every single person that comes in, you have to go, let me guess, you're angry? Angry people here, livid people here. Stay organized, angry, livid, those who want to wring my neck. Let's stay organized. So I know it's got to be hard for them, you know. So I'm trying not to be too upset, but it's hard not to be, they lost your bag. But you got to squelch it or else they won't do anything for you. You got to go in, hey, how you doing? Yeah, my bag? Yeah, I gave it to you guys a few hours ago. And it ain't spinning around on that thing. So I was wondering what kind of hell on earth I should prepare for. Well, hopefully it'll be on the next flight. If not, it'll come in on tomorrow morning's flight. We'll deliver it to your hotel. In the meantime, you don't need to worry. I have this for you. He reaches under the counter. He hands me a little bag, this big, with a zipper on the top, and it says, Essentials Kit. Oh, these are the essentials. Then I overpack. I thought I needed all that stuff I meticulously put in my suitcase. I stand corrected. You have the gall. If that was really an Essentials kit, if you had one, you'd never need to go to work again. Whatever happened to Harry? Oh, he don't need us. He happened upon an Essentials kit. He opened it up, it was filled with food, shelter, and love.
Isn't that the best? If you have not discovered Brian Regan, I would look him up on YouTube, and I think he's going to be in the Twin Cities like in March or April coming up here, but one of my all-time favorites. I want to spend just a couple of minutes talking about something that I call the Next Gen Essentials Kit. So this is our third year. We've all been in ministry for a long time. This is sort of a little bit of our collective experience as far as what just is so important, whether you are new or you've been involved in ministry for a long time. Here are just some essentials, particularly as it relates to what we do in Next Gen, with our focus being on mentoring. So I just want to share a few of these things with you. First of all, it's not about you, right? Isn't that hard to remember sometimes? Because we think when we start our relationship with our students that so much rides on how well we get along with that student. And we hope that we're going to have the perfect relationship, and we walk in with these lofty expectations. And we also can come in sometimes feeling like I've got to have all the answers to any question that the student might have. Or maybe I have something in my life that that's just burning in me that I want to share with this student. And maybe that'll be a helpful thing at some point. Or maybe I feel like there's all this pressure on me, I've got to know all of the answers spiritually for this student. And we put this pressure on ourselves. Now, it's good to be engaged and involved, but you got to realize that it's not just about us, and it's about God at work through our relationship and through all of this ministry and our time that we spend together with our students. So I would encourage you to, particularly if you're new, to take a breath and step back and just realize, you know what, it's not all about me. How this student turns out and does in life and their following of Jesus is not dependent upon just me. Okay, so that's the first thing. Second thing I would say is this: it is all about you. And what is true is that God works through ordinary human beings who are willing to invest their lives in the lives of others. And one thing you'll hear from us over and over, particularly if you're new, is the number one thing that you can do is show up. And our experience has been, if you show up and are here every week, and intentionally invest in your student, that over time, those things that I just talked about a minute ago will kind of start to take care of themselves. I ran the Twin Cities Marathon 2 weeks ago, and when I started back in March, I just committed to running 3 times a week. I ran 3 times a week, not having run seriously in over 10 years, and I actually made it through the marathon. But it all started because I started in March and just kept going. Every week I showed up and did what I needed to do, right? And the outcome was a good one. And so again, it is about us. It's about showing up and committing and being there week in, week out. I can't think of anything greater that we do than just continue to show up in the lives and be present for our students. Okay? The next thing is this. Listen well. My wife, who is one of my greatest teachers in this world, has said to me many times, she would say, Brian, I just want you to be a girlfriend right now. Which means I just want you to listen, and you don't have to fix this right now. I just want you to listen well to what I am saying. There is something about having a person in our lives who is just willing to listen to us without trying to fix us and make us okay, that there's something beautiful that happens when we create that space for young people and in our relationships. It's not that we don't have things that we can bring to those relationships, but that place to start of, I'm coming here to listen, is the place that we can gain the most impact in the life of a student. And in my interviews with folks, I hear from a lot of folks, I've got this thing that I want to tell this student or tell this mentor that I work with. And I would encourage you, those aren't bad things, just hold off and go with the mindset to intentionally listen, to be present and to listen. The next thing I would say is to ask really good questions. And there is no greater gift, I think, to a student than to ask good questions. It shows that we care and that we're listening. And it also helps us understand where the student is coming from. And I sometimes find when, like with my son in particular, there's things I want to do to fix. And if I can come in and ask questions about things that he is doing, he is much more open to having a conversation with me than if I come in with something that I notice and I just kind of accuse him of, right? So I've learned to play dumb over the years, and it comes fairly easy to me. And I just ask a lot of questions. And so I'll say things like, help me understand why you did this. Or sometimes I hear you talking about your friends in a pretty negative way. Help me understand why that is. And what we found over and over is that good questions open up conversations, and accusations or coming at somebody really shuts them down. And we'll talk more about this in a bit, or Tim will in particular, with new folks. But again, asking really good questions is huge. It puts people in a spot where they have to process and think through their response and why they're doing what they're doing and what they want to do, either differently or whatever. Okay? And the next thing I'd say is this, is to take time to pray for your students. And everybody is different in terms of how they do this. Sometimes I drive up and down Highway 169 almost every day, and I will spend some time, I'll shut off the radio, and as I think of students, I'll just kind of pray for them, or think of situations or families, or whatever it might be. I'll start to just pray, just lift those people up to God in their situations. And sometimes I do that every day, sometimes I do it every other day, or I'll be like, at a different time during the day, I'll think of it, or whatever. But I just think there's no greater gift that we can offer to our students than to just pray for them and for their lives as we get to know them and just for what God would have of them, or the difficult situations that they are in, or just making it through middle school or high school or whatever it is that they're trying to get to, or figuring out what's next, or whatever it may be, just to continue to lift them up to God. And the next thing I'd say is this, is we've got your back. And you're not in this on your own. There'll be situations that come up with your student or questions that you have, and we want you to know that at our Next Gen team, we are in this with you. And we want to support you as you walk through difficult situations, whatever it might be, or you just have questions about stuff. We are here for you. Our team is here to serve you all and to help you with what you are doing. And then the last thing I would say is this, and Steve Weens, who is here, This was something that he said to our mentors and mentor coordinators a couple of years ago that it just kind of stuck with me, and that is this idea of bringing your transforming self to your relationships. And the idea is, how am I growing in my relationship with God, in my journey with God? Are there things in my life that, I need to kind of keep thinking through or working on or whatever? I'm just going to continue to bring those to God. Because what is true is that out of the mouth, as Scripture says, out of the mouth the heart speaks. Right? The best thing that we can do as mentors, mentor coordinators, is to bring our transforming self to that. As I continue to grow, I bring that work that God is doing in my life to the lives of those that I have a chance to work with. So I would encourage you to do that. And then the last thing I'll just say is this, and this would be kind of my heart for all of us in here, is to keep this in mind, is that a good mentor endears a student or a mentor to themselves. A good mentor endears a student or a mentor to themselves. A great mentor endears a student or a mentor to Christ. That's an important difference. And there's no A plus B plus C to make that happen. But if that can be sort of at our heart of what we're doing, we just believe that God will work through everything that we have here to continue to foster that in the lives of our students. I'll say that one more time. A good mentor endears a student to Christ. A great mentor endears a mentor or a student. I'm sorry. A good mentor. I should put this up and be easier that way. A good mentor endears a student or a mentor to himself. A great mentor endears a student or a mentor to Christ.